If you are to look in Greece and the US and the UK, the point like prior towards the tabling of the budget, you'll see a lot of youth movements, youth groups collectivizing their voices, arguing. If you look in the UK last years in which they lobbied against the increase in the cost of education. So these are the kinds of examples in which the youth today should collectivize and mobilize their voices together. Malaysians in particular, especially people like you and me, care a lot about the future prospects of the employment market to assist people like you and me. I think that's something which I generally hope the budget would focus on, increasing the amount of opportunities for the youth to access. So I think the point in which the youth today sees that opportunities are lacking, the point in which they apply in a myriad of jobs, they couldn't access that job. I think that's where the biggest problem lies. It's not necessarily about I'm already in a job and I want to have high income. It's more about I'm unable to find a job which fits my degree or my postgrad and get into that job. I think one thing which I generally want, I think something which the government implemented before, which is a good idea, which unfortunately was scrapped or reduced, is the Kad Siswa program. I think this Kad Siswa program assists the youth today to minimize the cost and expenditure in universities, and that's something which is critical. Obviously, it could be enlarged, be expanded in order to allow us to use that card everywhere, but I think this definitely needs to be reintroduced because it doesn't only help people at the top, it primarily assists individuals from the middle class or lower middle class to get by throughout their daily activities. I think that's something which must be brought back. Scholarships, the allocation definitely needs to be increased. Generally, for all Malaysians to have access to educational opportunities in order for them to come back and reinvest in Malaysia. So I think in terms of scholarships, it definitely needs to be introduced. In terms of the policies, as you rightfully pointed out, it can be revised. But the most important thing is for allocation to be there, because at the end, educational opportunities will be the pillar of our nation to generate good future leaders. Having a large portion of the youth who are dependent on this fund and who will be disincentivized to look for jobs. So I think that's definitely one of the disincentives. We focus more on job creation, so this fund could be funneled into activities or policies to generate more jobs in comparison to sustaining lives of individuals who are unemployed. The Malaysian budget has always allotted a lot of money on education, and I think that's a good thing. I think it definitely can be increased. If you ask me, education should be the forefront of the budget. When I say the forefront, it should be the first department which gets the highest allocation of the budget. I genuinely do hope that there are at least like 15 to 20% of youth representatives who are also there to craft that budget to ensure that our interests are well taken care of. In order for the budget, which will be tabled soon, to be better than the budget before, we need to make sure that our voices are vocalized to the maximum extent. The very purpose of establishing Talent Corp is a genuinely noble purpose, where we provide tax breaks, incentives for them to come back, higher pay, etc. Those are all things which we should definitely keep. The introduction of this new budget that will stabilize things and that will incentivize them to come back a lot more. That if they cannot vote by using their hands, they'll vote by using their feet, by living this country. We might not feel the impact now, but 20 years down the road, when we see those individuals succeeding in other nations while being a Malaysian, we suffer.